Come here. Welcome to the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show, live every Sunday on Leicester Fan TV. Come on, you Foxes. Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you today? Are you all down at the King's Road today, or are you at home? I've got a very special show today. It's my 300th Foxes Aftermath show with a very special guest, which I'll introduce in a minute. But how's your weekend been so far? Hopefully, it's pretty good. You've been waiting for this moment. Well, you know what day it is. It's Sunday. It's 10 a.m. It's time for the Famous Foxes Aftermath show, run by us fans for you fans out there. And you know what? Your opinion matters. So get them comments in. Let's get going. It's kick-off time. Come on, you.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everods, Bolo Blinds, Pocker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Foxes Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Morning, everyone. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Yes, it's my 300th show. I have been here that long. I'm much appreciated. Some of you have been very first show. Some of you have only just started watching me. But this is a very special one. Not only is it the quarter-final of the FA Cup day, which everyone knows, I love the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup, full stop. We have got a huge special guest. We've got none other than Guillem Balague. You've known him. It's Sky Sports. It's La Liga TV. Spanish football expert, but more than that, he's a renowned football expert, and he's French and a huge friend with Enzo. So let's bring Guillem in. Morning, pal. How are you?
Morning, Jamie. You're right.
Or
congratulations on your 300th show.
Or should I say, buenos dias, Guillermo. ¿Cómo está?
Buenos dias. Your Spanish good still, eh?
Well, I've been here 20 years. I should be better than what I am, actually, but that's another story. Anyway, before we get talking about Leicester and that, a lot of people know you from Sky Sports and La Liga TV. I know you're not on Sky Sports no more, but how did you actually get started in the industry in Spain and then move to England?
I didn't start in the industry in Spain. That is perhaps the fact that makes me a little bit different, because when I finished university in Bellaterra, which is outside Barcelona, I decided to go to England, improve my English. The idea was to go 3 months, and apparently, if you say 3 months, you end up being a whole life in the country you go to. I heard it from different people. So magic words, 3 months became 30 odd years. And once I was here, I just wanted to obviously do journalism and be paid for it. That didn't happen straight away. And by pure accident, this was 95. I went to a radio show, Spanish radio show. Radio shows in Spain, as you know, they are massive, the midnight ones, football shows. And it was the draw of the Euros 96 in London. So they had all come to London, and I went to see it. They admit public sometimes, and had a couple of conversations. There was somebody there who had been in a university with me and said, I'm the editor of the biggest football magazine at the time in Spain called Don Balón. I said, well, I can be your correspondent. I can do stuff from England. And that's how football entered my life in terms of, business. And after that, there was no looking back. This was 96. And I remember ringing Sky Sports in 97 saying, look, I write for a Spanish magazine. I like to write about what you do on the Spanish football. At that time, if you remember, it was done from Manchester, Spanish football. It was Rob Palmer and Jerry Armstrong. They had done it for a season. I watched some of it, and they told me, well, come over, we'll show you the studios, introduce you to everyone. And the way I remember it, I went to the studios in the Sky in Osterley, And the producer there, Dave Lawrence, said, right, the show starts in half an hour and you're the guest of the show. I was like, what? And he put me in front of the camera. And at halftime, he said, we are going to do a highlight show. Do you want to do it? And it's like, yeah, I will do it. But I spoke to Dave Lawrence recently, and he said, that's not how it happened. But I don't want to know his story. That's how I remember it. I like it. And it's a way to say, listen, if you smell an opportunity, just go for it, even though that was my debut on television. I've never done television before. And once I started in the Sky, you know what it's like. People start recognizing you. People within football, this perhaps was the biggest surprise. People within football, because you're on television, they don't see you as a journalist or as an enemy, if you like. They see you as one of them. And then all of a sudden, I remember going to Melbourne to see Liverpool. And I was invited into the canteen. Instead of saying like, right, you wait, is that way to the press conference? It was like, oh, you want to see the manager? Is that other way? And that's always been the case since I had the opportunity to develop relationships with people. And instead of going to the press conference, I get to go a lot to the canteen and see behind the scenes. And even though I always say this, even though football is not my passion, I don't, if I had gone into cultural journalism or politics, I would have enjoyed it as much, perhaps.
You'd have been exactly the same.
But it's been a job and one that I enjoyed immensely because, as you said earlier, I've managed to do radio, television, podcasts, YouTube, write books, articles, and it allows me to be where my real passion is, which is to tell stories.
Apart from there is another passion. Anthony Sherman's already said to me, nice shirts. Now, I've heard a rumour, or I don't know whether I've read it or heard it on another podcast. You've got a shirt for every day of the week. Is that right?
That will be about right, yes. I don't think you're going to catch me wearing the same shirt twice.
You've got 365 shirts, or have you got? Do you start fresh every year, or do you have a new shirt literally every day?
When I'm not on camera, I don't need to wear the shirts. No, but yeah, it's I've got three bases where I spend time. I'm literally now in Croft, Leicestershire, and I've got a bunch of shirts here. I don't know, 30 or whatever. Then in Barcelona, I must have over 200. And then in Palamós, which is where the place to rest, if you like, that's in the Costa Brava in the north of Barcelona. There'll be another,
Cool. That's a huge collection. I thought I got a lot of football shirts, but you've got more normal shirts. You mentioned Croft. I know Croft very well, so I used to play cricket there quite a bit. Okay. You go to your local boozer there, is the Heathcote, isn't it? Why Croft? Why have you picked Leicester? Is it because it's in the middle of the country and it's easy to get everywhere?
I think same as football, Croft chose me in a way. So it's a long story, but basically I developed a relationship and a friendship with somebody who is based in Croft, and we were in touch for a long while. But coinciding with the Queen's funeral, I decided to come and see Brendan Rodgers, and who I have a relationship with for many years. In fact, I remember him when Chelsea played in Moscow, the Champions League final. Him coming to me, he was the under-23s manager of Chelsea at the time, and talking Spanish football. He did that thing that he does, Brendan, of speaking Spanish to you, a couple of sentences, and then you think, oh, he speaks Spanish because the accent is very good, and then you keep talking. It's like, no, that's it. I don't know any more Spanish. So we laughed a little bit about that and got in touch, stayed in touch. And I knew things weren't great at Leicester. And I thought, that's the kind of thing you do when there is a break, when there is nothing going on, no games, but you go and see these people and have lunch or whatever. But once I was here, he decided not to meet me. I didn't know why, because he was on the verge of being sacked, basically, and he had decided to take the team. It's not that he didn't decide to meet me; he actually had decided to take the team somewhere else. Apologized for it, and I was like, nothing to do. I remembered I had a friend in the area, and then we started, chatting football. His name is Neil, and his wife is Kay, and they become my my hosts are more than that. I live in the house basically in Croft.
Yeah, because you introduced, when I saw you in November, you introduced me to them outside the ground in November. Yeah, I remember them. Yes.
Yeah, welcoming people that basically just share everything they've got. And I looked, and it's like, oh, you've got an empty room, and that was that.
And that's another. And then your life started again, being a Leicester fan when Enzo turned up. Did you know you knew Enzo before? It's not just since Leicester, is it? You knew Enzo before, didn't you? When he was doing his time at West Ham and his time at Man City, you spoke to him before, yes?
Yeah. He obviously played for Sevilla and won the Europa League with Sevilla. I followed him as a player. He was at Malaga as well, in a very, very a Malaga full of quality, and by Roy and others, and he was in my radar kind of thing. But then when he did the job he did first time round with Manchester City, I was told keep an eye on him, and I love doing that. Just managers, coaches that offer something different, or try to develop some of the modern football that's out there. I love sitting down and talking to them on the way up, because once they are up there, it's harder to do so. And we then saw, coinciding with the with COVID time, he actually had as coaching staff two very good friends of mine, and they were updating me on how it was going, the story of Parma, how he got the sack after 2 wins, 2 draws on other feet, and it's like, what's going on? And it's because there was not synergy with the people that were at the club, that they didn't feel that was the way to play in Serie B, in the second division in Italy, and took in my eyes the wrong decision of getting rid of him. But it suits him more what he was doing then after Parma, which was again Manchester City. And as I said, in COVID time, I started or restarted my podcast, the Pure Football Podcast, and I started chatting with people. They had a lot of time in their hands.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and with Enzo in particular, it doesn't always happen, but we kind of clicked. And what was going to be like a half an hour chat, it became like an hour and a half, and that was it. We started talking. When he was in Manchester, we'll go and have a coffee with him, and I think he won't mind me saying this, and that kind of goes full circle with the story we were telling about Neil and Kay, is that where he had offers to go to other clubs. First, he wasn't sure what the next step will be for him. But when he started getting these offers, I won't tell you which were the other clubs, but one of them was Leicester. And I was a regular here. And he started asking me about Leicester. And of course, I wasn't talking from me because I don't know Leicester enough. So whatever question I was getting from Enzo, we like, Neil, what do you think? And what, as a club, what do you think? And obviously I had been to the training ground once or twice, and I talked about the training ground. So I gathered information from my local sources to tell Enzo what Leicester was about, what the club was about, what the fans were about, what the expectations were about, the feeling of going down, and how that had to be changed immediately as soon as possible, and how well he's done doing that. And all of that were conversations that reach a depth which took us beyond just being mates. And I think there's been a lot of back and forth since then in terms of what I see. And he's one of those that listens to people, needs the feedback from people he trusts or he's got relationships with, and that's where we take the story to now.
Yeah, interesting. I'll come on to Enzo in a bit more. I've got a very good question for you here, Guillermo, from Steve. He says, a question for Guillermo: when did you first hear about Leicester? Was it winning the Premiership, or did he know us before, like when Martin O'Neill and the famous Malaga in the 90s? So did you know much about Leicester before the time? I get this, living in Spain for 20 years, I get Spaniards coming up to me asking me, oh, are you a new fan? Or even tourists coming and ask me, I bet you're only a fan since 2015, and I'll have to tell them a whole life story. But when did you first hear about Leicester?
Obviously, I've been writing about English football from the 90s. For Don Balón, I was the correspondent of Don Balón, then the correspondent of Marca, of Us. These are the biggest media outlets in Spain. So, of course, I knew from Leicester. But obviously, it became, with you being in the Champions League, it became a massive story with you winning the league, the story of the century. and I was following very, very closely. I've got a great relationship with Claudio Ranieri. Before I start name dropping, I basically know everybody. So
I was going to ask you who's your most famous person in your phone book later on, but it sounds like you know everyone.
Almost everyone. But Claudio, great relationship with him since his time at Chelsea. Always very friendly. Always gives you something and always looks after you. So yeah. At that year, I also as you know, networking means getting to know as many people as you can. And I know a lot of agents, and I knew you as agent very, very closely, one of my close friends in football. So again, and he told me a great story about the day you won the day after you won the league. So if you remind me, I'll tell you that one. But yeah, through him, I was getting the inside, and through others, the inside of that season, which helped me write things. But I should say that this season, I'm watching Leicester City more than any other team, because I want to make sure that I understand what's going on. I want to enjoy it with Neil and Kay being Leicester City fans. Basically, it's an opportunity to to share things and to go to games together and that kind of thing. And I kind of rekindle my love for football in a way, because even though I'm obviously I have to think of football or write about football or talk about football almost every single day, it becomes a job more than anything else. And I'm kind of started seeing elite football, this is, with different eyes in the last 18 months or so since I've been coming to Leicester. I love the other brand of football, if you like. I'm the chairman of Biggleswade United, and I absolutely adore doing that. But in terms of elite, you can get a little bit, what would be the word? Not bored, but certainly it is a business. It's more than what happened on the pitch.
Your passion goes for it, doesn't it, a little bit, and you have to be drawn back in that little bit more.
Yeah.
And probably going away from the main form, because I know you've lived in Liverpool and London for a while, haven't you? Probably coming away from them main football centres and moving into a sporting county like Leicester that's got the football, the rugby, the cricket, the basketball. They've all got decent. Where you go to London, there's thousands, and there. Liverpool, there's lots of. So you can get your passion back, isn't it? Because it's not all based on football here. Which
it's
with me living in Spain, I found that I lost a little bit of passion for Leicester. But the last 10 or so years, I've started to grow back into it. I think being away from it actually helps.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but perhaps, yes, the fact that I am in a place now, or half of the time anyway, where there's only one football club. So it's not about rivalry and benches, going to the streams to defend one team or the other, like it will happen in Liverpool, for instance. Makes the conversation about football more interesting. But I insist this is the job of my hosts here, who I see what it means, what the club means for them, and I buy that, and I remember that way, that like for yourself, Jamie, that the football club, it's a community, it's a way of living in England. That will be, compared to Spain, the main difference. In Spain is a game, it's a hobby that lasts 90 minutes, and then you read the newspapers and whatever, and you talk about it, read and listen to the Spanish radio, but it's not the focal point of your life. In here, it's a lifestyle.
It is. It certainly is. We're going to get onto the nitty gritty now. We're going to get the insight into Enzo, because, like I say, you've got you're friends with him. You've been friends with him a long time. There's been a lot of controversial comments about his style of football. And how, but I'll go. Yeah, I know. I'll be honest. I'll hold my hand up. To start off with, I wasn't too impressed with it, because I was working the bar. We had all the Leicester games on and all the other football at the same time, and I didn't really get a chance to see the games until the end of October. Then I started and I was thinking, this looks bits I was saying. This looks a bit boring. It's not, and I wasn't quite the old school of get it forward, but that's me just being old school. And then I started to watch it in October properly, and I was sitting down at home watching the games with a beer and that, watching it, and started to see exactly what was happening. It's not, I can see what he's trying to do. It's not my style of football, but I can see what he's trying to do, and it's working for us. We are top of the league, even though we had a bigger gap. We're now, and it's his first little blip. But I can see also, I'm not completely won over by this style of football, but the way he manages the club, I am won over. So I'm sort of, I don't know how to put myself in what bracket I put myself. I've sort of grown into the style, but I'm not fully converted yet.
Interesting, and it's good that you admit that, even though you're top of the table and it is a very successful season so far. No, I was just putting the hands in my face because understanding what he's trying to do, it's relatively easy, and most people want results, and the results are there. So I'm not sure you even know what you're challenging by saying that you're not fully converted or you don't like the style, or what is it that you want. But this was my first perception of it. So what do people, modern football, what is modern football about? You get your players individually to have a lot of quality, to be doing a lot of things on the pitch, right? And secondly, if you are a modern team, you want to control what happens on the pitch instead of just being a coin in the air. Ball going to box and see who makes the least amount of mistakes, which is very exciting. I understand that. But if you want a team, especially here in the Championship, but especially in the Premier League, where everybody does that now, everybody has got different layers. Sometimes you are happy being attacked and you're defending your own box and you counter-attack. All the times you control what happens and you pass the ball. You have to have all of that. Leicester City didn't have hardly anything. I'm sorry to say, but you went down. Yeah. So in few months, what has happened here is that layers have been added to the team. And of course, you can see what's happening partly because you don't recognize it. It's not what has happened at Leicester. So something is happening. And interestingly enough, I think it's a big effort from a lot of people inside and outside the club to try to explain all that, educate, if you like. And most people will say, why do I want to be educated on football? Educate me about maths or science, but football. And it's like, because if you stay in that place where everything is a coin in the air, not only you run the risk one year of going down, but also it's not really effective to get points in the long term, because now football is a very sophisticated sport. It's not just box to box. It's not just long all the time. It's not that thing that perhaps gets you excited, which is, yes, the possibility of having the ball in both boxes all the time. Wow, that's amazing. It has to be more than that, because otherwise sometimes you go down. I keep insisting on this. You went down. So this is somebody that says, all right, what is football? Two things. He says, what is football? Football is the football that you sing. Let's make Leicester part of that. And also that's what he believes in. That's his passion. So because he's changed the style, I understand the debate, but you all want performance and results, and you're getting the results. So it's difficult to fully understand why people, not only that they're not getting it, they don't want to get it. They don't want to win this way. What? I thought it was all about winning, and all of a sudden it is about style, but not this one. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, It's a very strange debate, but it's an interesting one, and it has made people within the club think a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fans get a bit frustrated, me included at the beginning, that we would be using the wingers and you'd be going to and then it'd be cutting in, and then the ball would be coming back. I can see the trying to. Brendan had a good, well, I never say good saying about Brendan. He used to say not every backward pass was a negative pass. It was the start of another attack. Well, last year, that means we must have had about 10,000 attacks every game, because every time the ball went backwards under Brendan. But this year, I think fans find it a little bit frustrating that you get to a point where you want to see him cutting into the box, but they cut in and then go back. I think that's where the fans are finding it just that little bit frustrating, unfortunately. But
right. Let me say, Jimmy, when you see a little kid riding a bike and he kind of is not going great, do you say he hasn't got a clue? He's never going to make it. That's not the way. What is he doing? Or do you say he'll get it as soon as he goes, he'll be better? Because you said a word at the beginning, which was beginning. At the beginning, the fans were about. You are still at the beginning of a manager that wants to change the way you played. And that means, yes, adapting the players to it and adapting the fans to it. And he's making an effort to actually explain to you what he's trying to do. But I insist there are results. And if there weren't, I will understand the debate better. But he's managed to change. Do you know how difficult it is to tell Ricardo Pereira, forget what you know and let's do something else?
Yeah.
When he's 27 or whatever? How hard that is?
I think
now
you're
going to come inside.
Actually, Ricky P. You said Ricky P. then, didn't you?
Yeah. So
yeah, I think he's 29 actually. So
29.
He's been playing one way and had to, which is, I think, the way he plays. Ricky P. Hamza not so much. He's not the same kind of player. But Ricky P. the way he's changed his game is unbelievable. How he's inverted.
Not just him. Not just him. Everybody's learned new tricks, which will make them more unpredictable, difficult to stop, able to change things during a game, a lot of things based on an idea. And what Enzo has done, which is the hardest thing in football, and I tell you that as a chairman, and I've been a coach, so it's the hardest thing that everybody thinks the same. He's managed to get everybody thinking in the same line, and that is so difficult because everybody thinks they got that idea of how to do things, but he's gone and says, no, this is what we're doing, and everybody's buying it. Now, the thing I would say is that, and I've spoken to players about the style, and they love it. The style and the training, they love it because it's going back to the schoolyard, because he's asking them to have the ball and do stuff with it. It's not just all about midfielders, I'm sorry, but the ball is going to go over your head and then you got second balls. It's not about that. It's about, no, when you have it, you've got the responsibility of choosing the best. And you'll choose the best because you've got to get it into your head what is the best through training. And they love it. But because it's been a transformation of the players, a transformation of the style, perhaps because the energy from the ground isn't always positive, all that is tiring. And because it's about dominating as well and having to do things with the ball instead of being reactive and just defend and be a wall and then just kick it long like most teams do against Leicester City. That's easier because it's got more to do on the pitch. It's very tiring. So I think the team is tired right now, physically and mentally, and a break will be great. Today will be a lot of fun because they've got zero.
There's maybe not expectations, but we are the underdogs today.
Yeah, it's great to be in that position. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. Break and everybody comes back fresh for the last 10 games of the season. No.
One last question before we let you go, because it's been much I know it's early morning for you. It's in sunny Leicester. What's Enzo like as a man? If you could pick the phone up to him now, 2 hours before a game, what would he be like? Would he be relaxed, chilled out, or a bit stressed?
There is one way in which either of you can find out by asking him yourselves, which is the event we do on the 4th of April, which I'm sure you were about to mention.
Yes.
That is happening in Chutney Ivy in the Leicester City Centre. Is a lovely, great restaurant, Indian restaurant in Leicester. 4th of April. That will be an evening where it's going to be about 40, 50 people, that's all. And we will chat, Enzo and I. There will be a Leicester City auction. Let me show you what I've got for you.
What you got? Oh, get your bag out. Get your Tesco's bag out and see what's in it.
I've got Harry Winks boots. I've got that have been worn most of the season. Most of the season have been worn. So there you are.
Oh yeah.
That's the. These are the real boots that is worn in this historic season, which
it could be in a very historic season. It could be 2 trophies.
Ricky P.
And
then shirt signed by all the players.
Was that Mr. Fatua then? Was that Mr. Fatua's shirt?
No, it's Ricardo's.
Oh, Ricardo. Oh, sorry, I thought you said right.
So that will happen on the 4th of April, and what he's going to do, because is a 3-course meal or 4-course meal, wine is part of a fee, whatever. He will spend time in every table. So there's going to be about, if it's 50, it's going to be about 6-7 tables. That's all. And he will be spending time in all of them. So you'll be able to ask him yourself. Now, if you want more information on this,
I'll be at work. I'll be at work, unfortunately, that day.
if anybody else wants to go, everything is in my timeline on Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, we put that the other day on the Leicester Fan TV's timeline as well, with the link for the tickets, and we got the tickets we got the tickets.com. So if anybody wants to go, April the 4th, which is a Thursday night, is April the 4th? Yeah, Thursday.
It's Wednesday. I think you play Friday that week, so it'll be 2 days before the game.
Rightio. But yeah, sorry, I keep saying last question. The FA Cup, I've always wanted to know this because my Spanish isn't brilliant, so I've never really had an opportunity to talk to a Spaniard about the FA Cup. You only have, here in Spain, it's only the Copa del Rey, the King's Cup. Is the FA Cup big in Spain as it is in the UK? Because the FA Cup's the biggest competition in the world. Do the Spaniards get it?
Who says?
What, cup, club competition in the world, I should say.
More than the Champions League?
It is for little old Leicester.
But then don't mention the world. No, honestly, no, it's not. The Copa del Rey, you know this. The Copa del Rey is just another competition that in most cases, until teams get the quarterfinals, it just doesn't matter to them. It matters to smaller clubs than bigger clubs. But I realized the importance of the FA Cup when a few years back, the trophy itself goes on tour and goes to grounds. And there was a year, maybe about 6-7 years ago, that the first ground that he went to was Biggleswade United ground, the Verdun Stadium. And that we must have had 500 people coming to see it and taking pictures with it. So, for a place that is got 30,000 inhabitants, it was a huge percentage, more than in the games that we normally get. And it was like, because they just wanted to be close to this legendary trophy, the one that everybody stops for on whatever day is the final to watch. Today, for instance, Neil has got a bar outside in the garden, so we're going to have a bunch of people watching it. And so it is I realize it's a big, big deal. I like the expression, the best, what do you call it? The best competition in the world. I think probably maybe not the world, even in Europe, but it's what, I keep going back to being old school, and the FA, I was brought up on the FA Cup. It was probably the only game that you could watch when I was a kid at the age of 10 or 11. That's like 40 odd years ago. It was the only game you could watch live. Mm-hmm. And you could see it all day long, the build-up, and you were brought up on the FA Cup, and it was just the magic of the FA Cup. And when we won the FA Cup in 21, I was in floods of tears. I think the FA Cup meant more to me than the Premier League, because the FA Cup had been going on so long. We tried so hard, and I think it's just the magic of the cup. You get to see, like Maidstone this year. Who would have thought Maidstone would have gone as far as they did? Unfortunately, it didn't end very well for them. But it's just that magic of the FA Cup, and I wasn't sure whether. No doubt. And I'm telling you, we in the first pre-round, whatever it's called, because United are start on the first weekend in August, the FA Cup, and if we managed to get to September, it means we would have had 3 rounds, and that would have brought us a lot of money and a lot of people. And if we get to the first round proper, oh my God, it's one of the biggest successes of the season already, and we are in September. So no, I'm aware of the importance of it. I was just joking, and quite clearly there is magic around the.
I know. In Europe, it's the Champions League. In the UK, for me specifically, I prefer the FA Cup to absolutely anything, apart from winning the championship this year, which will be absolutely brilliant. Guillermo, it's been much appreciated. Thank you for your time this morning. And enjoy your barbecue. Wait, is it barbecue weather there, or is it just going to be outside in the bar?
No, it's raining at the moment, or it was about 15 minutes ago. But it'll be a couple of beers and stuff. Yes,
couple of beers. What's your favourite tipple?
Lafro, Scotch.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I'm a mature man, so mature men. You're not mature, serious men that don't want to be kids. They drink Scotch.
Okay, Guillem, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
My pleasure, Jim. And congratulations again. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you again. Much appreciated. Well then, lads and lasses, what a show that was. I've got 2 people waiting in the background. I've got Tom, who's, have you finished your breakfast yet, Tom?
Oh, mate, that was gone ages ago. Oh, it was a nice little breakfast listening to you. I'm having a chat this morning with a famous person.
Where are you, Tom? Exactly whereabouts are you?
I'm currently sitting in Wetherspoons on Putney Bridge in the Rockets. Bridge.
Well, I'm going to bring Locks in, who I don't think is anywhere near you. I think he's in sunny Leicester somewhere.
Yes, mate. Woodgate Woodgate.
You Woodgate, are you? You're there, are you?
Yeah.
Right then, we've had a bit of a chat about Enzo and Guillem's career. We're going to talk about.
By the way, congratulations, 300 show.
Cheers, pal. Much appreciated. You know what? It's actually I've made a well. I'll tell you later. There's a story behind that, anyway, but that's another story. We're going to talk about the game today. Just the last 10 minutes. Tom, you're there. Is there any other Leicester fans there? And you've got a feeling about what's going on?
I'm positive about today. I actually got a good feeling. I've got a feeling we'll come and do the job today. And I think you got it right. There's no pressure on Leicester. There's no pressure today. So it's a day out. It's a day to enjoy it. And I've just got a really good feeling we're actually going to go and do Chelsea today. Do them over and nick it. Look, if we do anything that Coventry did yesterday like that, then it'll be a great game, won't it?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Actually, Vaughan, yes, I do find it a bit funny that a Leicester bloke in Spain is talking to a Spanish bloke at Leicester. It's a very weird way of doing it. It certainly is. Locks, is that the way you're feeling about the game? I won't say it's a no-lose situation, but we are the underdogs today for once this season, aren't we?
Yeah, I was saying this earlier in the season when people were saying, "Oh, we're going to get battered in the Premier League if we go up." When was the last time Leicester were the underdogs? Probably like those 2 seasons we nearly finished 4th, and after that, after those 2 seasons, it's like, oh, Leicester are good, but now it's kind of, we are the underdog again. We're coming against Chelsea, the £1 billion bottle jobs, as Gary Neville called them a few weeks ago. And I agree with Tom, mate. I do fancy it. I think it'll be really tough, and it wouldn't surprise me if we went like 2-0 down early on. However, I think that I do have faith that we are able to show up. And I think, I know there's been talk about what team we should put out and stuff. I think Enzo will go relatively strong. I don't think he'll go, 100% full strength, but I think he'll have enough players in there to do a job. But Chelsea will be full strength, I think, because this is the only chance they have of getting into Europe, most likely. They have to win the FA Cup to get Europe. And, it'll be amazing if we can get to Wembley.
Just one thing, Andy, that's on the 14th. They're playing Spurs in the league today, not the semi-finals on the 14th. This is the WSL today. Yeah, Locks, I do agree with you there. Like you say, I don't agree with you going 2-0 down and then going back from it. But...
No, I don't think it will. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me either way. It wouldn't surprise me if we blow them out the water, mate. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they do the same to us. I can't really call it, mate. I really can't.
No, it's going to be a tough one. I'm nervous. Oh, I've been telling you, I was more nervous about the interview than I was about the game today. But Tom, there's 6,035 fans going. The away, which is a hell of a number for fans to go. We've not had the best of luck at Chelsea in FA Cup quarter-final games. We lost 5-2 the last time we were there. I think 4-3 was a League Cup one, wasn't it? When we lost 4-3, I think that was a League Cup game. And then the old Frank Leboeuf, who went down like a sack of spuds. That was a quarter-final, wasn't it? The Chelsea player.
Matt Elliott turned him inside out, Deschamps inside out as well, didn't he, in one of the games? We lost 2-1 in that game. So
we haven't had the best of luck. Chelsea have won the last 5 quarterfinals in the FA Cup, which doesn't sound hopeful for us. But there is a chance, though, Tom. I feel there's a chance, as long as he goes with a stronger side than what he did against Bournemouth.
I've seen enough Chelsea games this season. I've watched the last couple, the FA Cup against Leeds, the game against Newcastle on Monday night. They will give us chances. They've done it all season, but the difference is it's as against Leeds, as against Middlesbrough. It's about taking those chances if you want to win games of football. And in the last few weeks, we haven't taken the chances when they've come to us. Chelsea have gifted team chances this year. The other night against Newcastle had a hatful of chances they should have probably put in the back of the net and missed. It's all about the chances today. And when we get them, we have to take them because, look, Chelsea are a quality squad. They've got a quality squad of players. They're not clicking. That's the difference. They are not clicking as a team. You can have all the quality of the world, but if you don't play as a team, you ain't going to win football matches, and that's why they've struggled this year.
Yeah.
But,
go on.
No, I was just going to say, for me, it's 90 minutes, possibly extra time and pens, but you've got to get those chances in the box, and when they come, if we take them, you've got to have a chance of winning today for me. Then defend for our lives if we have to.
Yeah. Scott, on injury news, Locks, you've got McAteer out, Ricky P's out, and Vardy's injured, isn't he? Unfortunately, Vardy would have, I think, it's just Jamie Vardy's name now. I mean, he still does the job for us, but if he would have been on the bench today, which he probably would have been, and then Daka goes off, Cannon goes off, whoever goes off, and they say, "Oh, Jamie Vardy's coming on." That's name is in their head, isn't it, Locke? So that's a disappointment. So who do you think will be the starting number 9 today without Vardy? Because I'm sure Vardy would have started today, especially with 2 weeks off.
It'll be Daka. It will be, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, it's Daka or Cannon, isn't it? I think I just think Daka is still, I've said this all season. Enzo's first choice striker has changed throughout the season. It was Vardy, then it was Nacho, then it was Cannon, then it was Daka. But I think Daka is probably his second choice at the moment. Daka is, until Vardy came back into the team and started scoring recently, it was Daka starting every game. So I think it will be Daka today. Although, I would have maybe liked Cannon to start maybe and Daka to come off the bench potentially. But just hopefully Daka. I mean, every game I've watched Daka play this season, I know he scored a few goals, but he just misses a sitter every game, mate. And for me, it's not good enough. You can't miss a sitter every single game you play. And he does. Even if he scores a hat-trick, he'll still miss a sitter at some point. It just happens. So hopefully not just him, all of the players need to take the chances because that is where we're lacking at the minute. If we scored even 50% of the clear-cut chances that we've had, we'd still be 10 points clear or whatever, mate, because we're just not scoring enough.
Yeah, I think Tom's Wi-Fi, they've turned Tom's Wi-Fi off in Wetherspoons. Oh, he's come back now. He's come back. Tom, we lost you there for a bit. I thought they turned the Wi-Fi off on you.
You can blame Reedy there because he phoned me when I was talking to you and it completely destroyed my phone.
Oh, Reedy.
Always Reedy.
That means he must still be on the bus somewhere. So
it's because I started talking about Daka.
Probably, yes. Yeah. Before we go, I know you've got to get to the ground, Tom. So how far are you from the ground? Because Putney Bridge is pretty damn close, isn't it?
Yeah, about a 40-minute walk, so not too bad.
So what time did you leave this morning to get to there then?
7.
Early bird catches the worm. Is that what it is?
Get down here, get somewhere to park, and then have a bit of breakfast. Time away, you know what I mean? And then go and find Reedy. Go and find Reedy as well at some point for a beer.
I think there's a lot of people that know you down there, Tom. Before you go, what score, Tom, do you think? It's a tough one, isn't it? One thing I don't want to go to is penalties. I hate penalties because it's just a lottery, isn't it?
I think over the last few years, where we've lost on penalty to Man City a few times, and Liverpool, we don't want to go that far again. But I think your show summed it up. The mindset has completely changed, and now I think I won't fuss be going to penalties. I think the lads are a lot more focused and switched on. I think we've got the job done. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Squeaky bum times towards the end, but we'll nick it today. I think we will, and hopefully we can get the cough scum and shut their chairman up who decided that he wants to play us already just because he think they'll beat us.
I know, because they'll get through to the final. How stupid is that? He's put right egg on his face. That's like Locke saying we're going to win the league by about 50 points and break the record by about 70 points.
Hey, it looked all right for a while, mate. Pipe down.
Foot in mouth.
Yeah. Locks, what do you think of the scoreline today?
Do I go from my head or my heart, mate? Which one?
Somewhere your neck, then. Go in between your neck.
I'm going to go for a... you know what, mate? I'll go with my heart. 3-1 Leicester win, mate.
Ooh. Because Chelsea are not being brilliant just recently, though. They've not been playing the best football. They've got a few injuries. Unfortunately, Chilwell's back, which hopefully Hamza had a nice little tackle on him.
That's good for us if Chilwell's in there, mate. It's good for us. It only helps us, mate. So,
really, stop phoning Tom.
I think we'll... I know I said this. It could go either way, but I think we'll go 2-0 up early on. First 20 minutes, mate. We'll blow them out the water.
I honestly can't call it. I can't do my old Desmond 2-2 like I used to do for an away game. I've got to go for a win, haven't I? I've got to go for a win. But I think I'll be Tom at squeaky bum time, 2-1. Maybe not 1-0. I think that's too much of a squeaky bum. I know it's only 1 goal difference, 1-0 or 2-1. It's exactly the same with just that 1 goal. But it's 2-1 gives you that little bit more confidence than I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just 2-1 sounds better than 1-0.
Yeah, can I just say something as well, mate? I mean, if you look at the 2 games this season where we've played against like very good opposition, both of them were Liverpool. I know we lost both games, but you look at how well we started in those 2 games, the preseason game, obviously, which we started really well again, and then the cup game, which we started really well in. And I think that, it was a shame that I think the preseason game we got battered in the end, right? Was it 4-1 or something like that? 4-0,
yeah, but the first 30 minutes we played quite well.
This is what I'm saying. And same in the Liverpool game. Didn't we went 1-0 up in the Liverpool game as well, didn't we? McAteer.
Yeah,
so
KDH scored within 3 minutes.
Yeah. So we need to kind of just, that has probably been the story of the season, mate, in terms of like starting games, conceding late goals, basically conceding goals later on. And I think we just need to kind of get a nice healthy lead, mate. Even if it's 1, we'll take it, and then just try and maintain those levels all the way through the match. Because if we play like we have,
Chris, the semi-final draw, hopefully we should be in it. Hopefully, is straight after the Man U. Liverpool. Is it Man U Liverpool or Liverpool Man U? I can't remember who's at home.
I can't remember.
It's Man U Liverpool anyway, isn't it? It's straight after that. Tom, we'll let you go. Much appreciated. Go see if you can find Reedy somewhere. Oh, one last thing. How was the Legends night on Friday night? Was it good? Can't hear you, Tom.
On mute, mate.
Try again, Tom. No. You're on mute for some reason. Locks. All right. See you later, pal. Be good. Locks, you were there. How was it, pal? Was it good?
Oh, it was it was quality, mate. It was quality. If it happens again, everyone, I suggest get your tickets. I think it was
that video you sent. I thought the story about Martin O'Neill and Emil Hesketh that Terry Taggart's took, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. You can't really say it on here now.
No.
But I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But it looked like it was a cracking night. It was a full house as well, wasn't it? Which was good.
Yeah, all the stories, mate. All the stories were brilliant, and I think it was funny actually because Taggart told 2 stories. One I can't obviously mention, the Heskey one. The other one, it was about Taggart getting Savage by the throat and slapping him. And I think just very briefly, when they were in the changing room after, I think O'Neill said to Taggart, "What have I told you? Don't pass to that idiot on the wing."
Yes, I've heard that story before. Yes.
So it was, and funny enough, actually, O'Neill, those 2 stories, O'Neill actually refused and said they weren't true, but you could see the reaction from the other players that it was definitely true. Just
one thing on that Legends night, even though they're all ex-players, was there a feeling that they still looked up to Martin O'Neill? Did they call him?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and vice versa, mate. I mean, I think they all said, we owe our careers to Martin O'Neill. And O'Neill's turned around and said, I owe mine to yours, because I think he said, I can't remember the game. I think maybe Heskey scored 2 goals for Leicester early on in O'Neill's days. And he said, if Emil hadn't scored those 2 goals, I'd have been sacked.
Wolves away.
Yeah. And he said he would have been sacked, probably if Heskey hadn't have scored those 2 goals. So he said, as much as they owe their careers to him, he owes his career to them. And yeah, it was just a brilliant night, mate. Yeah, lots of auction. If you've got the money, it's good. If you ain't, you just there like, oh, I wish I could have that. But yeah, it was a brilliant night, and it was well hosted by MDA
events. Sounds like
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. Those jokes are made, mate. Those jokes are made.
Were they? Were they? All right then, pal. Much appreciated. The next one they should do is a 15-16 reunion in a few years.
Wow, that's going to be hard, isn't it? That's going to be the big bucks, mate. But I said this to Reedy, because obviously I know me and Reedy are similar ages, and neither of us properly watched or saw these legends play and stuff. But I said, it's a big deal, Reedy. Like, it's as if we were looking at the 15-16 squad in 30 years' time if we went to an event and they were there, or in 20 years' time. So it was a massive event. And I think someone said it's the first time those players had been all together with O'Neill at an event. And that was special.
I think there's been like a couple, but there was 6 and O'Neill, wasn't there? Was it 6? Yeah, there was 6 because Stevie Claridge came a bit later, didn't there?
And let me show you one thing, mate. One sec.
Oh, you're not going to show me that photo, are you?
No. I'm showing you this, mate. Look at this. Look at that.
Did you take that and get signed then?
Yeah, mate, that's signed. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, did you take that? Is that your own shirt and you got it
signed?
Yeah,
this is my shirt. Yeah, this is my shirt. So I think you've got.
I saw that.
Yeah, Walsh up there, but that's the main one there. O'Neill there. So Yeah, great evening, mate. Worth it. Well worth it.
Perfect. Good memories from the night.
I'm glad I had pants on them, mate.
And we'll say that again.
I'm glad I had bottoms on them, mate. For your viewers' sake.
Yeah, you've nearly forgot then, didn't you? You nearly forgot. All right then, pal. Much appreciated. And we shall see you next week sometime.
Come on, you foxes. Come on.
Yeah, come on, you foxes. FA Cup, magic of the cup. See you later, Locks. Be good, pal. Sorry, I'll cut you off a bit earlier then. Sorry, Locks. See you later, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. You normally do anyway. It's fine. See you in a bit, guys.
See you later, pal. Be good. Rightio. Much appreciated. Guillem Balague, absolutely fantastic. What interesting stories he's had from his career, his shirts, where he's living, his time at Sky Sports. Absolutely fantastic. But you know what? More appreciated that you lot have been here watching me every Sunday morning for the last it's about 300 shows I've done now, 300 weeks-ish. I've missed a few, but it was my 300th show today, so it's been really appreciated that you are the fans out there that keep me going and doing this week in, week out. So it's ciao, adios, goodbye, arrivederci, and there goes the final whistle. Come on, you foxes!
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everod's, Barlow Blinds, Booker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Cow, The Fox's Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit leicesterfantv.com for all the latest news.